Welcome to the 1958 Lawyer, the show for attorneys who know the old model isn't working anymore. The billable hour, the 12-hour day, the expensive office no one visits. Your hosts, Ron and Rebecca Boxstaller, are here to question all of that and more by exploring smarter, healthier, more flexible ways to run a law firm. No more burnout, no more outdated expectations, just real conversations with attorneys who are proving there's a better way. If you're ready to build a law firm that's profitable and livable, you're in the right place. Now here are your hosts, Ron and Rebecca.
Welcome to the 1958 Lawyer, the podcast about the business of law. I'm your co-host, Ron Boxstaller, along with my partner, Rebecca. In 1958, the ABA published an article that sparked the birth of a billable hour, and the legal profession hasn't looked back since. This show is about what comes next. Each episode, we sit down with attorneys, business leaders, and the people who support them to talk honestly about what it takes to build a law practice that's not just successful, but sustainable. So let's get into it. Today, we got a very special guest, a good friend of mine. He's been working with attorneys now for well over 18 years, I believe. And when he started his own firm, Connections Marketing, before that, CBS. Oh, sorry, Rick, if I get that wrong.
No, it's okay.
You were in TV, radio, magazine, a little of everything, Comcast. You were at the Tribune. But that goes back quite some ways. But you've been in the marketing game for a very, very, very long time. I think one of the most honest and trusted people in the marketing industry when it comes to ad agencies that are putting things together and really doing the right things by people. So, gosh, I probably messed that up, Rick, because I've known you such a long time. And
no, it was perfect.
Think the word of you. So.
Very impressive.
Welcome to the show.
All that stuff. Thank you. No, very impressive. You know all that stuff. So I've been in the game for 25 years, and really what I'm an expert in is working with small and medium-sized businesses. It's a big part of what I've been doing. It's just basically the area that I've specialized in from my days at CBS, the Tribune, and Comcast.
Well, we're glad to have you here. And this topic is something that Ron especially has been really looking at a lot. He just published a blog post on SEO for law firms, and he's been really paying a lot of attention to what's going on with AI and the AI search conversion. So you're the perfect person to sort of help us tie all of this together. No pressure.
Yeah, none. No, but we've been working on this extensively for the last year. Last year and a half, actually. So it's been a hot topic in our industry. As I mentioned, search has changed more within the last year than in the history of the internet. So there's been a lot.
Let's get into that because we're going to go back. Let's go back from 2009. You started Connections Marketing from scratch, coming out of CBS and the Tribune. What was the gap you saw in the market, and how did law firms end up in the picture? I know you do more than law firms, but today we're talking about law firms.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So back then, I was always in business development, and I had always had a lot of clients who'd ask me if they knew anybody who did websites. And I would always tell them, but there's plenty of them out there. Like, why do you need pounds? They're like, well, they're not very good. So I was like, okay. So, I wanted to start a new business. I've been doing business development for big corporations for the last 9 years. And I was like, you know what? Take a leap of faith. And not only did I want to start a web business, but I also wanted to run fully integrated marketing campaigns because, back then, there weren't too many agencies. Like one agency was doing paid ads, another agency was doing your website. Social media wasn't even a thing yet. It was starting to become a thing, but nobody was managing it. And so I wanted to bring them all under one roof. And actually, the first ever client we had was a law firm. We've been working with law firms since day one, and it is a very competitive space. Absolutely.
Well, you've watched the digital marketing shift dramatically over the past 17 years. What's the single biggest change you've seen in how small businesses, including law firms, get found online? You might have mentioned it here in the start.
No, that's okay. I would say there's been two huge shifts. One was when everything became responsive design, when mobile took over.
Yeah.
So that was a really big shift where people just couldn't have, one size fits all website. You had to make them responsive. At the end of the day, it means response to the size screen. That's become pretty commonplace today, right? So that was a huge shift. And then the biggest shift ever is which has been happening over the last year and a half, 2 years. And that's how users are searching the web. They're using, it's before a lot of people know the term SEO. A lot of what people are doing now is AEO, answer engine optimization. So whether that's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all the various ones out there, because now that's how people are searching. They are asking questions.
It's funny you bring up what's that called when it goes for cell phone to mobile to
Responsive.
Then I was writing and researching for an article I just wrote. I realized that Google started doing that responsive search crawling first back in 2019. I had no idea it went back that far.
Yeah, 2009. They wanted to basically, as smartphones were becoming more popular, they knew eventually that, people were going to start searching from their phone. I mean, when we first started the business, yeah, people know, I think it was 80% of all searches were from browsers. So it shows you how long ago that was. And obviously now it's like the complete opposite.
Well, back then you probably had a brick phone, right? So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cost $1,000, took a few hours to charge. No, absolutely.
Right. But how do you keep your head from spinning with all of this? Because I'm obviously not in your business. And so when I hear it all, I'm just sort of overwhelmed. Does it get you excited, or does it kind of make you like shake your head a little?
No, it gets me excited. Like, and to answer your question, how do I keep up? I have an amazing team, like wholeheartedly, like, Connections Marketing, we have a full-time team, and that's what we've always done from day one. We never really try to outsource because, as you mentioned, yes, the industry is consistently changing, right? And you need to have a full-time staff. We're continually educating ourselves on the industry. And so that's even how this whole thing came about. So as a team, every month everybody's responsible for giving like a tutorial on whatever the latest trends in their division is. So like I'm the owner founder, so I'm mostly in charge of sales and marketing, right? But our SEO lead, Arian Dianella, who is our VP of all digital marketing, began noticing a trend about a year and a half ago. And I'm like, okay, we're going to need to overhaul our systems. And yeah, it can be a little labor intensive, and it definitely can be at times a little annoying as our industry is constantly evolving. But at the end of the day, that's basically what clients hire us for, to make sure, we're following the best practices for them, right? Because a lot of what we do, creating content, right, for whether it's for social media or the internet, clients, a lot of them can do it on their own. It's ensuring that whatever content we are creating aligns with today's best standards, because the last thing, because you have some clients, who are still using tactics from 3-4 years ago. Like there are people who still don't even know about what's changed with AI search. So we've seen that, but it's all about following best practices. And, that's basically what clients are paying us for. It's really the strategy and making sure we're keeping it all up to speed.
It's interesting. The piece that I just published, it talks about, it actually opens with most law firms' websites were built for a Google that no longer exists. Is that your experience on the ground? And what does that mean, particularly for the small law firms who don't want to spend the money to change?
What I tell people is that if you do not update your digital marketing strategy, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be found online. Like the most recent reports, before everybody wanted to have video, it was like a nice to have, but now it's an essential part of any video strategy. So, there are effective ways, there are cost-effective ways of creating video content. You don't always have to hire an agency like us. I mean, you can create stuff on your own with your smartphone. I mean, there's a lot of great tools out there that make it easy to create your own content. But then again, as we know, lawyers have very busy schedules and it's hard to do that. So then that's why firms, work with us to help manage that for them.
What would you say as a percentage of how much your content needs to be digital? Is there a percentage of set number? Is it a couple posts a week? Is there any?
Yeah, I mean, what we're doing right now is, so to take a step back. So what we're asking people to do, because at the end of the day, AEO, right, answer engine optimization, those agents, they're just scouring the internet, right? They're looking at Google, they're looking at Reddit, they're looking at social media, and the more areas that we can get your content, especially in Google, right at the top, you have the search engine. You see the results at the top there. You have home, you have image, you have videos. We want to make sure you're in as many of those results areas as possible as well. And so what we're recommending is whether it's video, like what you're doing right now with these podcasts, or even converting stuff into images, slideshows. If you can do a few of those per month, we call it repurposing your content. That's ideally what you want to do. You want to do a few per month. Absolutely.
You've kind of touched on why attorneys should care about this, but I have to think that there's some people out there who don't even know what AEO means. And so maybe can you talk a little bit about what that is? And then that will tie it into why they care.
Sure,
They
yeah.
should
No,
care.
what it stands for is answer engine optimization. It's just the habit of a user going to like a chat GPT and saying, who is the best criminal defense attorney in my area? And right, and then chat will populate that information based on all these criteria. Because all chat is doing, like I said, is creating the internet. They're searching social media, they're searching Reddit, Google, obviously very in a very quick manner. That's why it's become so effective. But it's important that whatever content's on your site is answering questions. You also want to have deep content. Like the craziest, not the crazy, but what I find the most interesting is much as the industry has changed since when we first opened our doors, over 16 years ago, the core principles exist: good, relevant content that addresses clients' questions and or needs. So before you used to just have informational stuff on your site. Now you need to convey that information where you're answering a question, like why we're the best criminal defense attorney in the area, why you should work with us. Here's our experience, right? And then also, even Google's telling people if you have videos on these topics, that's that's even better, right? Because that's where people search for information. I mean, go to YouTube. That's where people really like to get a lot of their questions answered, right? Is they'll go to YouTube, they'll look at videos. So that is why it should be very important for attorneys, because they need to know that how people are using the internet today is completely different than just a year and a half ago. And if their website isn't answering questions, they will not get ranked in any of these.
Rick, that makes me ask you the question, because I think the number one search question is how much should my attorney cost, or somewhere along those lines. Where do you stand, even with all your clients, in putting pricing out on the internet? Good
Oh, I'm all
practice, bad
about
practice?
I'm all about transparency. You live in a world today where, I mean, because what this all is inbound marketing, right? You're giving away free information for people to come to you. So yes, I am a big believer in having your pricing out there. Because then also too, from the intake process, there's not going to be any sticker shock when fielding that call from a potential client. They'll know what your rates are. So you basically also have a higher conversion rate too. But yeah, I'm a big believer in having your rates out there.
So when we're talking about AEO, which I think is obviously a huge change that's going on right now, I believe it makes these small firms more competitive with the big players that are out there. That, when during the days where SEO was the thing and backlinks and you could pay money, whoever could pay the most money really got ahead in the game. I believe this is a time where anyone can get ahead of the game if you just write your content correctly to be picked up by, AEO, by a chatbot. Where's your position on that?
No, absolutely, I agree.
That's a
Like
leading question, I know.
yeah, no. But the thing is, it's really not only writing good content, but then repurposing that content, converting it into whether it's a vlog, a video, an infographic, a podcast. So yeah, it's very important to create good, relevant content that answers questions, but at the same time, you then need to repurpose that content.
And I love that you're explaining this, because there have to be other people out there like me who think that YouTube is only to teach me how to dislog a clog in my garbage disposal. And
Yeah.
so it's become so much more, and it's good for people to know that.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, a lot of what also helps us to, as you asked Rebecca earlier about our industry was changing, is Google, all social media companies, they basically will tell you, hey, here's where the trends are, because they see all the data. We want you to know all these things. And one of the things they keep referring is YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Not only will it obviously help you get rank higher and, with like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Bronco, all those, but at the same time, it will also allow you to have a more effective pay per click campaign, because that's the other thing too. It's called zero click search. When you're answering, people aren't clicking around, right? And so if people aren't clicking around there in your traditional paid ads, they're still clicking around other areas, whether it's YouTube, because people, again, we're just trying to cast as wide of a net as possible to ensure that wherever a person is looking for information, your information appears.
Too much. You mentioned Reddit earlier. Is that a pretty big source where people are going to get their information?
Yeah, peer reviews are big. I mean, because it's natural, right? People are there talking naturally about, because we were telling a lot of clients, like, reviews you want to get on Reddit. Um, because you could talk all day about how good your company. Of course, you're going to say good things about your company, but nothing is more valuable than peer reviews. So yeah, Reddit is something that people, we're highly recommending to start focusing on that as well.
All right, keep that in mind. All right, we got a solo attorney coming to you today. They got a zero marketing budget, which is like $2,000. But with it going to zero, you got 2 hours a week. What are the first 2 to 3 things you tell them to do online before they can get off and do anything here? Just do these things and it'll get you started.
I mean, especially with a very small budget, just try to get yourself a template website up and then get social media going. Because those two, you can at least get those going right away. You can get yourself a really nice template site these days for pretty inexpensive. And social media is pretty easy to set up. It works very well. And then do like some basic paid boost around that. And then obviously paid ads with Google. And then once you get, ideally, you want to do SEO and AEO right away as well. But that takes time. And I know brand new attorneys are all about getting the phone to ring right away. And that is the most effective way to do it. Now, SEO and AEO is definitely another thing you should be doing along that, because when it all works together, it works the best. But if you're saying limited budget, brand new person, that's what I would tell them to do right away. Get a website, set up social media, and start some paid ads.
What are you talking about? Local SEO, Google Business Profile, things. I think those are free, right? Google Business Profiles are free.
Google Business Profile is free to set up, but then you got to pay somebody to manage it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, because that's part of SEO, right? Because you were constantly adding content to there as well. So that's ongoing. Yeah. I mean, ideally, say if you're like a normal client, basically what we do is come in, we do an analysis of their just their whole digital marketing presence. And then we go through and make recommendations. But 90% of all of our clients, our monthly retainer clients, all do SEO, pay per click, and social media. And then we definitely do have a decent amount who like to do email marketing as well. But very rarely do we have any clients who just do social media or just do paid ads. Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is create this content ecosystem and have these brand standards, right? Just it's no different than 30 years ago when you're running a TV ad. That TV ad had the same creative of your print ad. You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing now. What we're writing about on social media should, be same thing we're writing about on your website or on your blog or in your paid ads.
So nothing's changed, right? The basics are still the
Nothing and
same.
everything. Nothing and everything.
It's just a matter of the stuff's still there. But it's how you get that information out into the world now. Like I said, the biggest change now is video. That's an essential thing that anybody must have.
I think we got to just keep pounding on consistency. Every week be doing something, have a rhythm going that you're always doing something out there. We just did a case study. We compared 2 estate planning firms, started about the same time, pretty much similar credentials. One's growing expansively and one has zero traffic coming to its website because for the 20 years they did no upkeep, no upgrades, nothing. And now they got to dig themselves out of a hole and they're losing all that potential revenue.
Yeah, and I mean, and not only do you have to get them filed, then you obviously help them with the intake process because, as we talked about before, Ron, the intake process is a huge part of all of this too. We could put together the best marketing plan for a client, but if they don't handle the calls properly, it doesn't matter, what we do.
Wasted money.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, so it's interesting though that you mentioned that, Ron, because if I were a new attorney hanging my shingle for the first time and I'm thinking all I need to do is make sure I have a website, that's not really the story. So, Rick, what do you think is the biggest misconception new companies or a new attorney going out on their own might have about marketing and what they need to do from jump?
Oh yeah, like you said, just throw up a website, post your stuff on Google Business Listing, and do some paid ads. Like that will work.
But you have to do them all. You can't just have a website sitting there.
I mean, you can, but it's like I always told people before, like back in the day, like say if you opened up a new retail location and a really beautiful strip mall, if you don't promote it, nobody's going to know it's there, even if it's in
Right.
this nice strip
Yeah.
mall. I mean, people might happen to, walk past it, but at the end of the day, you still need to make people aware that you're there. And that's the biggest misconception today. And then the other thing too is that they can set it and forget it. They just think, oh, if I just get it going a little bit, it's like you got to do it every month. And that's kind of where people come and pay us, because it's hard for any small
Yeah.
or medium-sized business to come up with content every month. People, oh, I'll do it. They'll do it for the first month or two, but month 3 or 4, it's like, oh man, what have I wrote about? And then it's like, why are you writing this? Is the data telling you to write about this? And what is your website lagging? Right? So that's the thing too. It's like, it's just not, you can't just turn on a website. There's so much strategy behind it, what to write, when to write it. And also like, who's your specific audience?
Right.
Well, now we're talking about what to write. AI generated content's everywhere now. The trend guides we're seeing say that authentic human feeling content is winning. Attorneys have real stories and real expertise. Are they using it? And if not, why not?
So did your question is why are people, if people are using AI or no?
Can you use AI to write some of your content or help with your content?
You can definitely have AI to help, like, I mean, just like do research and stuff, but no, everything should be written by a human. Like, there's nothing wrong with using AI to do research or to find information on a specific content topic, but no, you want to, and there, all the search engines, everybody is telling you the more authentic, the better. And also part of it too really comes down to is the user will know. So in the old saying, and Aaron always says this, if the user likes your content, Google will like your content, right? So users are not dumb. They'll know whether this is AI written or written by a human. And usually genuinely written content, people finish the whole article, they'll read the whole thing, and the bots will know that. And so you'll get bonus points for having good content that people want to interact with. Like, on any sort of client, we always have this thing called their engagement rate. So it just tells you how much people engage with the website. So that's a good number that helps you understand how effective your content is.
I was not aware of that. It's good information.
Yeah, and like the stuff like last I heard too is that Instagram may not be publishing all AI generated content moving forward. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, there is a way to do it, but it's also an easy way to get around it. But just an idea, like a lot of the online companies are actually starting to even crack down on it as well.
Now, so I had gone back, this was probably 6 months ago. I know there was a couple companies out there that said, oh, we can tell if it's AI generated content. I kind of pushed back today. I think I think it's bull. I don't really think they can tell if it's AI. I mean, there's certain things maybe you can, but I don't think if you can train a bot to write in your voice these days. So I think it's very, very hard to come out
We've
and say
tried. Yeah, we've
that,
tried because like we have some
you know,
clients who are they're busy because again,
yeah,
filming a lot of video, right? They're busy, and we try to do it.
yeah.
And so what we have been doing, and this is the thing that really helps with clients who are super busy, is we just film a ton of audio of them, and then we just use images and pictures and create like more or less a slideshow with at least their voice.
Yeah.
But it's something easily they can get to us, and then we create these nice videos behind them.
Yeah,
So
no question. Videos, it's the driver. It's a key behind what we're doing. They got to be putting that out there. I think, and anyone can. You're right. It don't have to be first class. It can be off your phone. Make it look professional. Let's see. Kind of coming down here. Last question, unless we got anything else that pops up. Oh, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, mistakes, marketing, or just going out on your own, what would it be?
I would have told myself to start focusing on recurring revenue from day one.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I remember a conversation you and I had going back quite
Remember that?
15
Yeah.
years ago. We talked about how do we get recurring revenue out of our businesses?
And then I was like, just you get incremental from, all your clients. Cause like you can start offering all these other services to your clients. I did the same thing. I mean, when we first started, 80% of our business was building websites and apps. Like selling out any sort of product, can be difficult, but
Yeah.
recurring revenue, as we know, it's great. Your biggest, most profitable businesses all have recurring revenue.
Change your model. That's how it's going to work. Become a fractional attorney, fractional what is that? Legal officer for a firm, and they'll always pay you every month. You're going to need
Oh
someone.
yeah, just get a bunch of like. I know some people are they get a bunch of retainers. They're like a fractional for like 5
Yeah.
different law firms, right? And then just they get recurring every month. I know it's not easy for everybody, but no, I've definitely started seeing it in the legal profession.
Oh, absolutely. I want to bring up because you're 17. I think it's 17, or is it say 17 years in business? Somewhere right in that range. But you've had
October.
your core staff's been with you almost the whole time, which is just an amazing statement to what
Yeah,
you're
it
saying to
is.
what you do. And I think people need to understand like the kind of person you are that speaks volumes when it just talks to your staff's been with you all these years.
And they put up with me all these years. No, I mean, honestly, they're great. Like we wouldn't, like I've always told them, this company wouldn't be out here without them. Like the ability for us to collaborate, the ability for us to always to be open and honest with each other really helps us, grow because just said our industry is constantly doing this, right?
Yep.
And if you're not working with a team who can't work together through all that change, then it's going to implode.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, which kind of makes me think, we've said a few times, like just take some video. Anybody can take video. Use your smartphone, take video. But if you don't know what to do with that video, it doesn't matter how good it looks on my smartphone, which just makes me want to say that, people really should check out the show notes and see how to contact you and reach out and ask you to maybe help them understand what to do with that video.
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we're here to help. And it's a big part of what we do. We've actually had 2 meetings on that this morning. So, yeah,
So-
strategy, is a big part of what we help our clients with.
We're going to put Rick's information in the show notes, connectionsmarketing.com. He's on LinkedIn. Rick Rivero, email is rrivero@connectionsmarketing.com. I should have it memorized. I do get it memorized, I guess. I want to make sure it's right. But we'll have all that in the show notes. Rick, super glad you got to come on. Look, great information. Anyone that's looking for anyone that needs to help with your website, help with your marketing, help with getting something out on a weekly basis, just getting out there on a digital presence, give Connections a call. Rick's definitely going to take care of you. Thanks for coming out, Rick. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all the great years of being a friend and a client.
Oh man, Ron, it's been great working with you all these years. I mean, seriously, you're a great person to work with. And I always love you're always open to new ideas. So you're definitely a great client to work with in the digital space. So
You've got such a great team. Like I said, I got to mention the Carloses, the people that you can just go to because they've just been go-to people, solid, fun to work with, easy understanding. They break it down, even though they're super smart. They break things down that even I can understand them. So
Me too.
Yeah, you can't there's not too many agencies out there you can say this is who you go to and you're going to have great people to work with. So it's a testament to what you've done. You've built a great company.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you both for really inviting me on the show. I mean, I had a great time and yeah, I'm always welcome. Always feel free to invite me back.
All right. We'll have you back soon. That's all
Awesome.
for today. A big thank you to Rick for joining us and sharing his insights. Today's conversation got you thinking about your own practice online presence, your own presence. Take one idea and put it to work immediately. Give Rick a call. He'll give you new ideas. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, leave us a review, or share it with a colleague who could use it. The 1958 Lawyer is brought to you by Amada. For more than 30 years now, Amada has helped law firms of all sizes do more with less. Built on the 4 pillars: fractional support staff, virtual office options, office space, and the legal community. Whether you're a solo practitioner just starting out or an established firm looking to right size your overhead, Amada gives you the infrastructure of a big law firm without the big price tag. Learn more at amadaoffices.com. Until next time, keep building.
Thanks for listening to the 1958 Lawyer. If you like the show, tell a friend, and please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to hear more about Ron, Rebecca, or Amada, go to amataoffices.com. That's amataoffices.com. All the links are also in the show notes.